I am Dr. Custodio, and today I invite you on a fascinating journey to discover the history, symbols, and life lessons of the Quinceañera. More than a party, it is a mirror of identity and a treasure of values. Join me in exploring its beauty and profound meaning. Section 1. The Ancestral Origin. The Quinceañera tradition has deep roots in the pre-Hispanic civilizations of Mexico. In cultures such as the Mexica, the Maya, and the Zapotec, the transition from childhood to adult life was marked by ritual ceremonies. At 15 years old, a young girl was no longer considered a child. She was entering a stage of responsibility within the community, the spiritual realm, and the family. Among the Mexica, ceremonies were held in temples with dances, prayers, and offerings, asking for strength and wisdom. The girl learned household tasks, the art of weaving, ceremonial cooking, and above all, the importance of becoming a pillar of her family. For the Maya, the ritual included lessons on respect for nature and spirituality. What we now see as a party was once a sacred initiation into adulthood, where the community celebrated the young woman who would bring balance to her people. It was not merely about festivity, but about remembering that every life has a purpose. This ancestral root still beats in every modern Quinceañera, the symbolic passage into a new stage of maturity. Section 2. Fusion with the colonial world. When the Spanish arrived in the 16th century, indigenous traditions intertwined with Christianity. The Quinceañera ceremony did not disappear, but transformed. Catholic missionaries adapted the indigenous rite of passage into the framework of Christian faith. This gave rise to the custom of the Mass of Thanksgiving, in which the young woman offered her life to God and received a blessing to embrace her new stage. The white dress, symbolizing purity, was inspired by European attire and the rituals of presenting young women at the Spanish court. In this context, the Quinceañera meant not only maturity, but also the reaffirmation of faith and family obedience. Symbols began to merge: the waltz, the crown, the giving of a Bible or rosary. The event shifted from being purely communal to also becoming a social occasion, where the family presented the girl as honorable and well-educated. This fusion of indigenous and European worlds made the Quinceañera a unique tradition, profoundly Mexican, speaking of cultural resilience and the ability to embrace the new without losing one's roots. 3. The Quinceañera is a mirror of identity. More than a party, the Quinceañera became a mirror of Mexican identity. It represents how the nation intertwined its indigenous heritage with European influence, giving birth to a hybrid celebration that continues today. Every element tells a story. The Mass reflects spirituality, the waltz echoes European salons, and symbolic rituals like the shoe change or the doll represent the passage from childhood to adulthood. What's fascinating is how this celebration transcended borders. Across Latin America, from Mexico to Argentina, it was adopted and adapted, each with unique nuances. Yet the Mexican Quinceañera maintains a distinctive hallmark: the union of the sacred and the festive. Socially, the celebration is a reminder of the importance of family. Parents, godparents, and the community participate to show support, reminding the young woman that she is not alone on her journey toward maturity. Beyond religion or social gatherings, the Quinceañera remains a symbol of transition, identity, and hope. It reminds us that each stage of life deserves celebration, because growing up is a sacred act. Section 4. The symbols of the ritual. Every Quinceañera is filled with symbols that, while sometimes seen only as beautiful traditions, carry deep meaning. The dress is not just decoration. It represents the transition from innocence to maturity, like a new skin. The shoe change from flats to heels symbolizes leaving childhood behind to walk firmly into adulthood. The last doll is a farewell to childhood, a tender gesture of letting go. The crown is not just an accessory, it represents dignity and responsibility, reminding the girl she is a daughter of a heavenly king and has immense worth. The waltz reflects harmony, order, and discipline, virtues necessary for adult life. The Bible or rosary, presented by parents, serve as spiritual guidance. Every element carries a deeper lesson. Growing up means embracing responsibility while holding on to beauty, faith, and dreams. These rituals are life lessons in disguise, teaching that life is full of transitions worth celebrating with gratitude. In this way, the Quinceañera becomes a living school of values, passed down through generations. Section 5. The Quinceañera in Modern Times. Today, the Quinceañera has evolved, adapting to modern times. Some families celebrate lavishly with venues, live music, and banquets, while others choose simpler ceremonies, equally meaningful. What matters is not the size of the celebration, but the symbolic value it holds. In a fast-paced, technology-driven world, the Quinceañera remains a space where families gather to remember what truly matters: love, mutual support, and the recognition that life is a gift. For many young women, it is the most anticipated day, not just for the dancing or the dress, but for the recognition of their dignity and voice as women. It is also a moment where parents publicly express pride, faith in their daughter's future, and commitment to walk alongside her. In modern times, the Quinceañera has also become a platform for self-expression, where the young woman showcases her personality, identity, and dreams. Even as contexts change, the heart of the tradition remains alive, celebrating life and reaffirming that each person carries a unique and transcendent value. Section 6. Lessons of Discipline and Gratitude. Beyond the dress and the photos, the Quinceañera teaches two fundamental values: discipline and gratitude. Discipline begins during preparation, learning the waltz, coordinating schedules, rehearsing, organizing. Just like the celebration, adulthood requires commitment and effort. Each rehearsal is a lesson that nothing great is achieved without consistency. Gratitude is expressed in acknowledging parents, godparents, and family. The Mass of Thanksgiving reminds us that life is a gift, not an automatic right. Celebrating a Quinceañera means pausing to recognize what has been received: love, education, and support. These two values, discipline and gratitude, are essential in daily life. A young woman who embraces discipline will reach her dreams. One who practices gratitude will value what she has and share it with others. Thus, what seems like just a celebration becomes a school of life, working with dedication, being grateful with humility, and celebrating with joy. The Quinceañera is not only a marker of time, but also a moment that instills virtues to guide her into maturity. Section 7. Family as the protagonist. The Quinceañera is also a tribute to the family. It is no coincidence that parents play a central role. They present symbolic gifts, dance the waltz, and give blessings. It is a reminder that life is not built alone, but in community. Preparation involves grandparents, uncles, godparents, and friends, each contributing, whether financially, with time, advice, or presence. This teamwork strengthens family bonds and creates unforgettable memories. In times when everyone is absorbed by phones or busy routines, the Quinceañera reminds us that being together is precious. The ritual highlights that parents not only give life but also guide, support, and walk alongside. The young woman, by dancing with her father and receiving her mother's blessing, publicly acknowledges that support. And the family, by celebrating, reaffirms its mission to be present at every stage of life. In this sense, the Quinceañera is a school of family unity, where we learn that growing up is beautiful, but growing up with support is even more meaningful. Section 8. The Quinceañera as a metaphor for life. The Quinceañera celebration can be seen as a metaphor for life. Just like the event, life is full of preparation, anticipation, nerves, joys, and moments of uncertainty. The waltz represents the balance we need to face challenges. The shoe change symbolizes the new steps we take at every stage. The doll reminds us there is always something we must let go of to grow. Even the crown sends a message. Every person has worth and must carry the responsibility of their choices with dignity. Life, like the party, is not perfect. There will always be surprises, mistakes, and lessons. What matters most is to enjoy, be grateful, and move forward. When a girl celebrates her 15th birthday, she reminds us adults that we too are constantly transitioning, leaving behind old stages and embracing new opportunities. The Quinceañera is not just a rite for teenagers, but a universal symbol. Life is a journey of change that we must face with faith, discipline, and joy. Celebrating 15 years is celebrating humanity's ability to renew itself and look to the future with hope. Section 9. Social and Cultural Impact. The Quinceañera transforms not only the young woman and her family, but also the wider community. In many towns, the celebration becomes a gathering that unites neighbors, friends, and even entire villages. It is an expression of hospitality, where food, music, and dance are shared. Culturally, the Quinceañera has inspired music, film, literature, and fashion. Designers create spectacular dresses, musicians compose waltzes, and writers describe its magic in novels. In the United States, the Quinceañera has become a strong symbol of identity for the Latino community, a reminder of roots kept alive in foreign lands. The tradition also teaches an important lesson. Life is not only individual, but also collective. When we celebrate someone, the entire community is strengthened. This Mexican tradition is a gift that has crossed borders and continues to inspire the world. Its message is clear. Growing up is not a solitary journey, but a shared path where everyone has something to contribute. Section 10. The Life Lesson. In the end, a Quinceañera is far more than a party. It is a life lesson. It reminds us that every stage has meaning and deserves celebration. Childhood, with its innocence and play, gives way to youth, with dreams and responsibilities. The tradition teaches us not to fear change, because growing up is part of our purpose. It shows us, too, that family love and community support are pillars of strength at every transition. Life, like the Quinceañera, is full of symbols. Learning to let go, walking firmly, practicing gratitude. The greatest lesson is that every person has immense worth, an invisible crown that signifies dignity. Celebrating 15 years is not just looking back, but also looking forward with hope and commitment. It is an invitation to live with joy, discipline, gratitude, and faith. And perhaps the deepest lesson is this: every day of life is worthy of celebration. The Quinceañera inspires us to honor the present, give thanks for the past, and dream about the future. Growing up is not about losing, it is about transforming.